Hey guys, what's up? Today, we're gonna strip these panels down to bare metal. All right, there's a few examples. We started with the wire wheel and it worked all right. It didn't seem to cut quite as good. It's almost more polishing it. It does work though. And then we went to the 80 grit on the DA and that works pretty good. It probably gives you the cleanest finish out of everything, but it feels like it takes a little bit longer. But it is a little easier to get down in these grooves and stuff because you can kind of tilt this around. I'm not sure how good this paper is. 3M paper is probably better, but it seems to be working pretty good. Then we jumped over, I think, to the 80 grit disc here, and these work really good. It cut pretty good. It's a little aggressive. Might be a little too aggressive. I mean, it would definitely be too aggressive for the body, but for the pans, not a real big issue. Then we jumped over to this area, I think, using the blue disc. And it works pretty good. I like it. It doesn't seem to be cutting into the metal too bad. and it feels pretty good when you're cutting with it. Then we tried this little one, which is very similar to this. It came in a pack with all those other ones. I think I've got a couple packs from Harbor Freight. I got some off of Amazon, and I think I got some from Northern Tool, and they're all pretty much the same, but they come in like a variety pack with all these different types. So this was in there, and it works pretty good. This one works really good, actually. I thought it worked really nice. So these two are probably my favorite as far as speed and cutting through it. But I do like the DA as far as, you know, a finished look. I don't think it's as important on the pan, like I said, but definitely for the body of the car or the vehicle, whatever you're working on. I'm sure that's the way to go. Like with Darren, when we were working on the Dragon's cab, which is sitting out there, by the way. I got to get that in here. But I think he had a big orbital sander with 8-inch disc on it. It was like a beast. He called it like a knuckle buster or something. It was an old school one. And I think he used 80 grit to cut the first layer. And then I think he jumped to 120, if I remember correctly, to get to the next layer, and then he painted over it. But yeah, this seems to be the smoothest, nicest approach if you're looking for that real clean look. This is more aggressive, a little bit more aggressive, but like I said, I don't think it's an issue for the pan. So I'll probably mess around with all of them a little bit more and just kind of feel them out, you know. Every tool has its place. They all seem to be working pretty good. Oh, I sandblasted this side. Back when I did the chassis. I was gonna sandblast these, but by the time I got to this, I was exhausted and about to have heat stroke, so I called it a day. But I was surprised. This has been sitting in here for a few days and it didn't flash rust. There is a little rust on there, but it's pretty impressive. It's been sitting in here. It's rained a few times outside, but it didn't flash rust as bad as I thought it would. So sandblasting is definitely the way to go if you have access to that. But most people don't, and I honestly wouldn't recommend it unless you got a really nice setup. It's just a mess. But I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I like the end result of sandblasting. I'm gonna try to come up with maybe get a really nice suit to wear, and maybe get that helmet that has the disposable lenses on it. So when your lens gets covered with sand, you just rip it off, and there's another one underneath it. There are some really nice suits out there. They're about $1,200 or so, but you know, if you're doing a lot of sandblasting, it might be worth it. I don't know if I'm gonna get to that point, but I like trying the different methods to see what works, how it works, how long it takes, the mess involved, and the tools and the material. These seem to work pretty good. All of these do. So, you know, I think the biggest thing is just using what you have and working with what you got. I'm gonna keep getting these down to bare metal. I gotta get both sides down to bare metal. So you can see it's hard getting in some of these areas, but everything's been touched and scuffed. So I think it would be fine to just clean that up with some acetone or some thinner, paint thinner. And also paint thinner will actually take some of this black off too. So we're probably good to go. Just wipe these down, get ready for paint. I might spend a little more time. I don't know why, but there's some rust on here. This is almost where sweat dripped on it a while ago, but I thought I cut through it, but it's kind of weird. It came back through. So I'm gonna clean this one up some more with the 120 and hit some more back here. I got a little more work to do. Let's go ahead and throw that one up here and try some 120 on it. All right, guys, I went ahead and tried some paint remover. I had gloves on, my respirator, and it comes out real gooey and slow. If this works, I'll show you how I applied it on this area. But I just wanted to do a little area first. It's supposed to bubble up, so wherever there's paint, it should start to bubble up a little bit. I mean, there's not a lot of paint left on here. So, but like this area's got some pretty good paint left. You can kind of see it starting to bubble up a little bit. It's been about 10 minutes. Could probably let it sit longer, but I took this little brass brush just to check it, see what was happening, and it's working. Look at that. Wow. That actually worked really nice. This was pretty thick right here. Let's just see how it wipes off without scratching it. Let's just see if it comes off. Yeah, it does. Wow. Okay, well, I don't know, guys. That might be the way to go. Wow. Okay guys, I'm gonna have to say for this application, this is probably the best way to go. Just be careful. Don't let it get on your skin. Don't let it get in your eyes, and make sure you wear a respirator and be in a very well ventilated area. You're gonna go through some paper towels, wiping it up, and you might even have to put a couple coats on to finish it up, but it works pretty good. Don't let it dry. It says that in the instructions. You apply it, you let it sit for 5-10 minutes, depends on how thick the paint is and what type of paint it is, different scenarios. You might have to do a couple coats. But man, for something like this, it has all these little grooves and valleys and crevices. That's the way to go. This is $16, $17. Let's just say it's $20. It feels like there's enough in here to do all 4 sides. So $5 a side, something like that. $4, $5, $6 a side, depending on how many paper towels you use and stuff like that. It also depends on what type of paint's on here, and obviously I've already removed a bunch of it, so if all the original paint was on there, it may have taken 3 coats. I'm not sure. But that worked really, really nice. Really nice. Okay guys, I think we're ready for primer. We tried pretty much every way possible, and I think I definitely learned some stuff along the way. After all the different ways of getting the paint off, it looked like the paint remover stripper was probably the best way to do it. And then once I did that, I cleaned everything up with 120 just to give it a nice etched finish, I guess, for the paint to grab onto. I'm not sure if that's necessary or not, but it seemed like a good idea. So now I am going to wipe everything. I blew everything off, got all the dust off everything, and I'm going to wipe it with acetone. I don't know if acetone or lacquer thinner is better. To me, they almost seem like they're very similar in the way they work. Let me know what you guys think. Is acetone or lacquer thinner, which one's better for cleaning, you know, bare metal, getting it ready for paint? All right, guys, I'm gonna wipe it all down, get it clean, and get ready for paint. Look at that dirt coming off there. What's better, acetone or lacquer thinner? They're made by the same company, and they seem very similar. They're almost like alcohol, rubbing alcohol, is what it seems like. All right, guys, check it out. One of you, or a couple of you guys in the last video said, hang the pans or hang the chassis. And I thought that was a great idea. So we've got them hung. So the only issue will be, you know, where it ties up right here, getting paint there. But we can get both sides, 99% of it, which will be huge. It'll be a lot better than having it laying on a table or whatever. So we've got these clean, stripped, clean, ready to paint. We've got our mask, mixing bowl, primer, epoxy primer. My buddy Darren VW Darren. He's the one that showed me how to use this stuff. So go check out his channel if you get a chance. He's got some really cool content. Got a gun from Eastwood, and I want to say thanks, Eastwood. This gun's great. Appreciate it. I think we're ready. I'm gonna mix the paint. You gotta let it sit for 15 minutes and then you're ready to go. All right, we're gonna go up to 4 like we did last time on the 2-to-1 ratio. We'll go to 4. We're gonna go to the 4. That should give us plenty, probably more than enough with the primer, and then you add your hardener up to 4. I think that's how you do it. I'll stir this just a little bit more. Maybe it does need to be stirred. It feels pretty thick at the bottom, yeah. Probably a good idea to stir it, guys. All right, let's go up to 4. Try not to make a mess this time. There we go. Nice and smooth. Right to 4. Boom. All right, let's get the top back on it. And put it on tight. And this is Epoxy Primer, guys. It's a protective coating to keep the metal from rusting while you do the rest of your body work and all that stuff. And then we'll put a nice, when we're done with everything, putting the seat rails on and everything, getting them welded onto the chassis. Then, once it's all ready, we'll go back and spray the whole thing with a nice satin coat. And this, we're gonna go up to the next 4. And that should be it. Now, we should be able to stir this and then wait 15 minutes and we should be good to go. Unless I mess something up. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. Stir this just a little bit and then put it in the gun. The one thing I did notice about this gun is the top is pretty difficult to get off. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way or if I just don't know how to use it properly. I've got it loose right now, but for some reason it's difficult to get on and it's difficult to get off. It doesn't seem like it wants to line up properly. So I struggled with that a little bit last time. Okay, filter. I need to get a gun holder too to hold it like this. Little rack. But we'll just do this for now. Okay. Filter. And let's get the top on without spilling everything. See, this top is kind of a pain to get on. Doesn't want to line up. There we go. Not really sure if this is supposed to be a certain way or not. I'm not really sure what that does. Some kind of pressure relief, maybe. But there we are. We're gonna hook it up. I had to take the cover off the gauge because I wiped it with paint thinner and it fogged it up. So we're gonna try to be right around 30.
Seems pretty good. Seems better. Alright, let's try it. It's moving around a little bit. Yeah. Well, I like hanging it, but it needs something to hold it. Alright, we'll come back to that one. All right. Woo. All right, let's do the second coat.
All right, just been cleaning up, getting everything ready to go. And these have been sitting here drying. They're almost dry. There's a couple little areas that are still a little wet, but for the most part, they're dry. I think it came out pretty good. And keep in mind, this is just primer, epoxy primer to protect the metal while we do the metal work that has to be done. The old primer, the stuff that was on it when it came from the factory, is just a protective coating. It's not good. And as far as I know, you're supposed to strip it all off and start over basically with some good stuff. So we're gonna weld these to the chassis, which is us sitting over there. And we're also gonna do the seat rails. Once that's done, then we'll scuff everything up, clean it again, and we'll put on a nice satin chassis paint. But for now, we are one step closer, guys. I hope you're enjoying the series. We'll see you on the next one.